Good morning. What is good Thursday morning to you? Happy Passover. For my Jewish friends, we will be. I shouldn't say we'll have a. We won't have a seder tonight. We will have. We will have dinner tonight at my mother-in-law's, the notorious MIL. I'll have some gefilte fish, and what else? Maybe some liver. I hated liver growing up, and I still the stench of liver and onions makes me throw up. I remember my parents would eat that. Oh, liver and onions. But that like pureed liver spread, I can handle that. I can handle that. I'll be skipping. I'll be skipping Club 400 tonight. I decided it was in my better judgment to do Passover as opposed to another party at Club 400. I was partying with Club 400 for a week in Arizona just a few weeks ago. So figured spread them. So I figured we'll do Passover. Liver is nasty. Liver is so disgusting. Liver, I can still, like, when I say liver, I can still, like, it's burned into my nostrils. Like, I smell it right now. Like, I can smell walking into my house as a 12-year-old, and maybe I had basketball practice, or I don't know. I came home, my parents had dinner. They're like, oh, Bo had dinner, went out to eat after practice. We're going to make liver and onions and stink up the house. My parents also smoked in the house growing up. It's probably why I can't breathe when I attempt to run or jog. So the stench of liver, onions, and cigarette smoke, and not just any cigarette smoke. We're talking cheapo GPC light cigarette smoke, and probably my dad's Old Milwaukee Light breath. So you've got Old Milwaukee Light, GPC, and liver and onions. The stench of my childhood. I'll stop talking about liver and onions now. We've got an interesting topic today. I want to talk more about sell-through rate, declining eBay sales, and I'm not concerned. And I talked about that with our show the other day about sell-through rates. But following the show, somebody had reached out to me. We had a great conversation, and the question was posed, when will you be concerned? So I want to tackle that. I thought that was a great question, and I have an answer for it. I'm not concerned whatsoever by declining sell-through rates and the, quote, declining card market, because I don't feel like it's in decline. I feel like it's stronger than ever. In fact, I feel the card market now is stronger than it was when you were selling 20th year Tom Brady Prism PSA 10s for 20 grand. That was stupid. That was not good. That was not a good hobby we were in. That was not sustainable. That was an anomaly, an outlier. I think we're in a better place, a stronger place. So I have no concerns. I shouldn't say I have no concerns, because you always have to, you've got to look over your shoulder. So I want to tackle that, and I want to explain why I don't feel concerned, but where is that line of concern? Like, where does it go from me being, the hobby's so good, we're in such a great place? I don't even know what type of voice I was trying for there. When does it go from that to, oh shit? Where's that line? Where is that line? So I want to share my thoughts. Jenny says declining sell-through rates means it keeps a fire under you to keep listing. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it makes me think, F this. Fudge. F this. Oh, man. Yeah, there's days where it's like yesterday was a down. Typically Wednesday starts my trend back up. Now there's so many things that go into it, and I'm not going to say the hobby's great based on one day of sales, and I'm not going to say the hobby sucks based on one day of poor sales. But just like when my wife says, my wife and I actually had this conversation a couple weeks ago where she's like, last week I was just thinking, I don't think I'm ever going to sell a house again. Now that's that's a reach. And then she's like, all of a sudden now I'm turning down listings, and that's, different markets, lot different in money wise as well. But I feel the same. And I said, I feel the same. And she's like, yeah, but you sell hundreds of cards a day. And I'm like, yes, but my hundreds of cards a day are a very small fraction of what a home sells for. So different, but the same. The same emotions are attached when you're in sales, no matter if you're selling homes, selling baseball cards, or selling copy machines. There's emotions, and there's highs, and there's lows, no matter what type of sales you're in. And you just have to ride the wave. Ride the wave. Good morning, Terry. What's happening? Boston Smoke in the house. Dan is 4th. When I saw that, I'm like, Jesus, is it May 4th? My least favorite day of the year. No, it's April 6th. We've got a month before we're inundated with Star Wars jokes. Terry M in the house. What's up? Good morning. Todd is here. What's happening? Christian, good morning. As a Passover gift, I would like to give you the Cubs a Javier Baez back. I loved Javi Baez. I think you can keep him in the Motor City. Detroit can have Javi. I like RT, especially with Dansby. I'm a fansby of Dansby. We got Nico at second. I guess you could slot him in at, we got Wisdom over at third. I'm pretty content with the Cubs lineup. Many Cubs fans are not. 3 games into the season, oh my God, this is the worst roster. Oh my God, we've got better players in Iowa. Shut up, I say. Let's see. Terry says my mom loved liver. It's nasty. Stop talking about it. You're making me sick. John, what's happening? That 70s card show. I grew up smelling liver as my father was a product of the Depression. Worst smell ever unleashed on my senses. Yes, I agree. Yet I grew up eating liverwurst with joy. I don't know if I've ever had liverwurst. I don't recall ever having liverwurst, but yeah, liver. And my father was not I guess indirectly, my dad was born in he's passed away now, but he was born in 1940, which is pretty damn close to the Depression. He grew up super poor, which was a product likely of the Depression. So much the same. He also my dad loved, like, his favorite foods were like the most simple things. And it's probably because he grew up like just out of the Depression, super poor. And so, like, my dad's favorite foods were like mashed potato, anything potato. He loved potatoes, probably because that's all they could afford when he was growing up. Donald Davis in the house. Good morning. Bo knows morning. And yes, from yesterday, I'm from the Fulton County area, 8 miles south of Ipava, the I in VIT. So when I was in Macomb, Table Grove was where that was the Sunday beer joint. You have to go to the gas station. McDonough County was a dry county on Sundays. I think that's changed. I think you can actually get to, but it was like it was dry, but only like taverns and liquor stores and like gas stations, they couldn't sell beer, but you could go to the sports bar and you could drink. You were supposed to eat too. Yeah, right. So I think they finally got with the times. So we had to drive, and Table Grove from Macomb is, what was it, 15 minutes, 20 minutes? So, and that was the closest that sold beer on Sunday. So you had to drive to Table Grove for the gas station beer. Terry A says, my dad was hams and Viceroys. Warrior Cards, what's up? When I was in college football, we had a tradition called the Falcon Relays. We had to carry raw liver in our mouths and pass it off to each other. Grossest thing ever. What a weird thing. Never today. That is quite possibly the most awful thing I've ever heard. That is disgusting. Ugh. John says, was that college or was that when you were in the Village, people? Brian Dean in the house. What is up? John says, hobby is great. Screw the industry. Hope it goes away. That's I saw something I think it was about like there's a lot of industry news. Like I think a bunch of Panini employees are leaving, and it's like I saw a tweet like LinkedIn is going to look interesting today, and it's like I don't give an F. Like it's like, should I talk? No, I'm not going to talk about that. I don't care. I don't care where people work. I care that if I care that they're employed, gainfully employed. But if they want to bounce from this job to this job, I don't give a shit. I'm just here to talk baseball cards and sell them too. I guess I do care about that part. Buy my baseball cards. Let's see where we at. James in the house. What's up, James? Hopefully I'll see you on Saturday. Market is hot. Just have to do your homework on what players are moving. Absolutely. And you know, the thing is, and I was talking about this with a fellow card show dealer a few months ago. And I think this was like when things were like really declining. Oh, I can't sell my base Luka rookie for $3,000 anymore. No shit. You should have never been able to do that. But it's like, this is why I'm not concerned. People have made money selling baseball cards since the early 70s. And there's been a lot of lean times in the hobby. Lean times in the hobby. There's always been buyers. So, you know, it's up to you if you're in this business to successfully handle the ebbs and flows and work around it. Like James, exactly what James says. Do your homework, what players are moving, and know what you're buying. Buy low, sell high. You can do it with anything. You just have to do it. And why I'm not concerned, you know, part of me, I think when I was on Bench Clear, Ty said, are you worried that you're creating your own competition at times? And I didn't think of that until he brought that up. And now it's like, quite possibly. Now there's millions and millions and millions of cards. And millions of maybe not. Maybe there are millions. Who knows? Who knows how many active trading card buyers there are? But I think what I'm not concerned about is that a lot of baseball card sellers will realize what a grind it is to really do this full time, have success. It's day in, day out. It's 80 hours or more a week. It's a freaking grind. It's not hard, but it's a grind nonetheless. You know, when you have 300 orders to ship, but you want to go outside and play, it's a grind. You know, or you put your store in vacation mode, go to spring training, and you're having fun at spring training, but you're not making the sales that you want to make. But if you make the sales you want to make, you're going to come home to be buried with 1,000 sales. And neither of those are fun, but that's my choice. I made the choice to break away and go to spring training. And I don't regret that. I never have, and I never will. So I think the grind will weed people out. They'll see like, oh, this is easy, and whether or not they're, you know, maybe, you know, and sellers come from a wide variety. You know, maybe guys like me that just love buying cards and then decide at one point, I've got too many cards. I need to start selling cards. Or entries from the COVID boom. Got back into it. Now I've got other things going on. I'm going to games. I'm going to concerts. I'm going to restaurants. I'm doing this, that, and the other. I don't have time for baseball cards anymore. You get kids. Kids come along. The young kids that are in it. There's probably a lot of the young kids. There's a ton. If you go to card shows, there's so many. We need kids. We've got kids in the hobby. Now we just need them to stick with it and not start chasing girls and parties in college and stuff. That's what I did. So we're going to have those. We're going to have people leaving, people entering. And so ride the wave. You just got to ride the wave. George in the house. What's happening, George? Good morning, Ed. John says the kids out there will love this. Buyer messaged me asking what no dot variations are. I've sold a half dozen or so far. I love it. I had a buyer come in and I was sorting one of the bulk boxes that I was going through was all 89 Donruss. And so when I go through, I'm pulling, and these were like all commons, but there were Cubs in there. So I was pulling the Cubs. So I was sorting these 89 Donruss anyway. It wasn't like I went out of my way to look for no dot variations on 89 Donruss. So instead of sorting the fronts, I know the players. I've got thousands and thousands of Cubs 89 Donruss. So I'm just looking at the back and it's like boom, 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 no dot, oh, dot, no dot, no dot, no. So, and I listed, I don't know, a couple hundred, and one sold like right away. And I listed it like $250, not even the $1.50. These are premium no dot variations, $2.50. Couple sold. Then I'd get like a team, like an Orioles collector buys a few. And then all of a sudden, I think it might have been my 50% off sale. So they were selling for $1.25, but they bought like 15 of them. I went back through and I looked at my no dot, 89 Donruss no dot, and I've sold like $70 worth of 89 Donruss no dot variations. So there's a market for everything. You just have to identify it, identify a good price point, and then ride the wave. Herman, good morning. Where are we at? Paul Heath in the house. John says, and I just sold my 59 Fleer Larry Fine for the second time. Hopefully I send the right one to eBay authentication this time. Good morning, Cooter. Red Light 34, what's up? Tracy, good morning. He's about to hit the road, says Red Light. Harlan in the house, what's happening? By the way, the Facebook group, check it out. We're up to 127 members in the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. We've got some great discussions going on. Joseph was asking about Stadium Club Chrome. Picked up some blasters today. Photography is elite. I may go out. Today's Thursday. I may have to go for a retail run. I've kind of got the itch to rip. I haven't ripped much in a while. Outside of the 2020 Topps update that I pulled the Bo Bichette super short print yesterday morning. So check out the Facebook group. Some great discussion. Donnie, who's in the chat, is also looking for a 86 Donruss rated rookie, Jose Canseco. So check out the Facebook group. And we've got some buy, sell, trade going on. We've got eBay listings. People are posting their stores. We've got discussions going on. Facebook group, Hobby Evolution. Link is in the description. And I might as well just pop it right in the chat as well. Where's that link? There's that link. So check out the Facebook group for Hobby Evolution. Christian says, is there any hobby that is more obsessed with the companies that provide the hobby materials? I don't know, but that's a great question. It's a great question because it seems like there's not another hobby that's like this. It's like what's a toy trains, and because there was a booth. I've always been fascinated with toy trains, but not to the point where you think baseball cards take up a lot of room. Holy moly, trains. But do train collectors, are they like on Twitter, like, oh my God, 4 employees from Lionel are leaving. They're going to Mattel. Like, do other hobbies do that? It just seems weird to me. Oh, the new director of fun at Fanatics is this guy. Oh, he's bad for the hobby. Like, we are the ultimate nerds. Like, not only do we collect baseball cards, but we talk about the people that create them and where they're going to work. What is wrong with us? We are weird. Do people who paint care who is designing paint colors? Right. Do bikers care who is designing bikes? Possibly. If you're talking like motorcycles, probably. Bicycle bikes, probably not. Harleys, probably. There was a show. What was that? Midwest Choppers or West Coast Choppers or whatever the hell it was called. Red Light 34. When I get back, I am going to start a half off Sunday on my eBay store. Love it. Half off sales are great. If you're going to run and this is my advice, if you're going to run a sale, frickin' run a sale. 50% off. Don't piss around with 10%. Don't piss around with 20%. Make it, just go big or go home. Be wary though. I love the 50% off sales when I list either like thousands of commons and like cards that are basically stagnant inventory. I try to be careful of listing, like if I'm going to list, like say I open when Bowman comes out in a few weeks, I'm not going to do any 50% off sales within a week or two of Bowman release because it's a new release. It's a hot product. People are going to be wanting that stuff. I'm not going to give it away. But if I don't have much in my store that's like a hot right now, I can move stale inventory. And like, as I just did a 50% off sale last weekend, like I'm selling cards that it's like, wow, this has been sitting in my eBay store for 3 years. 2020, one of the back in 2020, Topps did the Gold Star parallels in the green, I think the green boxes for complete sets. I think I bought 3 complete sets. That's how crazy the hobby was. I bought 3 complete sealed 2020 Topps sets. We wanted everything. And 2 of them were the Gold Star parallels. So I've got, and I still have, I'm probably only down out of 600 cards or so. I'm down to like 200. But I just, out of my 50% off sale, I think I sold like 20 to the same buyer. So I love moving stale inventory on those 50% off sales. Let's see. Oh, we've got some additions to our Hobby Evolution Facebook group. Link is in the chat. We're up to 131 members. 4 more added this morning. Love it. Let's see. Terry says, are we on topic 12 minutes in? This could be like the sell-through rate conversation where we just kind of weave in and out. We're riding the wave. We talk about the topic just to draw people in, because what I don't want is people see it there on Twitter, like people that don't watch every day and don't know how ADD I am with this show. And so they see the topic. Ooh, I really want to watch, because hey, as a listener to like other content, I just want the person talking about the topic to talk about the damn topic, not about what he had for dinner last night, not about what he's eating at Passover this evening. So I get it. But that's just not what we do here. So I kind of, when I do talk about topics like this, because I know that it'll bring in the non-regulars who want to hear me talk about eBay. So I have to weave in and out. So we'll hit the topic, we'll bounce around and talk about liver and onions, and then we'll talk about trains, and then we'll bounce back to the eBay stuff. Ed says, price your cards correctly and people will buy them. Too many people trying to squeeze every last penny and then complaining they get no sales. Exactly. That kind of goes in with what we were talking about with the sell-through rate conversation the other day. There's sometimes there's just too much emotion attached, and we overvalue our cards. And I'm guilty. I think every one of us listening, watching, chatting is guilty at one point or another of overvaluing a card. I do it all the time. And sometimes it works out in my favor. And some, like the Dylan Cease reference, I overvalued, and I knew at the time I was overvaluing it because I didn't want to sell it. Like, this is my price. I'll sell it if you'll buy it at this price. And for a year, I was highly overpriced, like more than double. But it finally, Dylan Cease was tearing it up in the minor leagues, got the call, and boom, the price reached the market price reached my price point, and I was willing to sell, and I sold it, and we all lived happily ever after. But there's other times where especially with new products, where it's like and that's where you can really get in trouble, is a new product. Bowman's coming out in a few weeks, and you get like a gold chrome refractor numbered out of 50. But remember, first few days on the market, that's when there's going to be the most interest and the most eyes and the most money coming at you. And a lot of times, I overvalue a new product, and I'll get offers. And sometimes the first offer is the best offer. And that's happened to me many times, where I've lost hundreds of dollars because I was stubborn. And I'm like, no, I think it's worth this. And it wasn't. And I ended up losing money. Or I didn't lose money, but I lost money. I could have had more money. I didn't lose money, but I could have made more money. If that makes any sense. So yeah, pricing those cards correctly. John says it's low, sell high is wrong. Buy low, sell for a profit is more accurate. That is more accurate. I agree. Yes. That's a great point. And that goes along with what Ed talked about in pricing your cards. Buy low. We always want to buy low, sell for profit. And that's probably definitely, thank you, John. That's more accurate, where, if I buy Jordan Walker Bowman Draft Chrome Refractor was a part of the bulk Bowman buy from a few weeks ago, from last month. Market price might be $8 for that card. In that bulk buy, I paid like 3 cents. So do I hold out and buy? I bought low, really low in bulk. Do I sell high? Do I sell it comps at $8? Or do I sell it almost immediately within 24 hours when I get a $5 offer or a $6 offer? I'm selling for $5 because boom, in out, boom, in out. I don't have to worry about, who said it? Was it John or Ed? Trying to squeeze every last penny. If you bought something for 3 cents and you're holding out for $8, what if Jordan Walker gets hurt and he's on the DL for the next 2 months? You lost out. You could have had $5 and you lost out on $5 for potentially, maybe he never comes back and he's in the minor leagues, and or he never comes back from an injury, or so many shitty things could happen. So many good things could happen as well. Maybe he continues to rake, and that's a $15 card or a $20 card in the next month or two. But I'm taking my chances. I only have 3 cents in it. I'll sell it for $5, and that $5 is guaranteed. That $8 not guaranteed. That potential of 20 could be could be a mirage or whatever the hell I'm trying to think of. So yeah, I think that's a better saying. Buy low, sell for profit. And in John's last sentence, yeah, exactly. We don't know. Maybe that $5, maybe in 3 months, that's a $2 card. So we could have held out for 8, never got 8, and now 3 months later, when we could have had 5 right away, we wait 3 months and only have 2. Opportunity cost. Let's see. Kyle says, what's up, Kyle? Where's Kyle? Kyle says, oh, I skipped too far ahead. Damn it. Where are we at? There it is. Kyle, if you buy right, i.e. in bulk, I think you can always profit and make nickels into dimes. Collectors are kind of addicted to collecting. That's a great point. And that, going back to kind of what the topic is today on, a parallel, is why I'm not concerned is how I buy is there's always going to be And especially if the market declines, I still don't think we're in a decline. I think we're still strong. There, if you compare year over year numbers, there might be a decline. But we're also comparing boom times. If you compare back to 2020, 2021, probably not a good idea. I think now moving forward, we're going to kind of get back on track to finding accurate comparisons. I lost my train of thought here. But I think that's, because I wanted to circle back to another point. Buying, buying in bulk and that's the grind. And I love the grind. I don't always love the shipping aspect of it. But we all love the buying part. That's the most fun. Finding those deals, sorting through. But there's also the grind attached to. Now we've got a list, we've got a ship. So I love that more so some days than others. But also we do, and this kind of lines up with the topic today as well. When will I be concerned? And before you start a business, you run a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I am not a risk taker. Never have been. I am always going to choose the path of least resistance. That's just who I am. So for me to quit my job, a good job with great benefits, to sell baseball cards, what the hell was I thinking? No, I'm glad I did it. But that's not the type of person I am. I am not. That's a risk, a giant risk. So I would not have done this if I wasn't 100% certain that I could do it and have success doing it. Because I'm not a risk taker. And this was a giant risk. So when running the SWOT analysis before, I considered it, one of the biggest threats, we're talking outside threats beyond our control as business owners, is what are some outside forces? What if a market declined? That's certainly, I don't know if I still have my market or my SWOT analysis because I had it on an app. Oh, I do. Unable to install personal. The app is no longer available. Huh. Well, I lost it. Okay. Anyway, I can remember. Can't remember to take out the trash. I did this week though. But one of the outside threats, selling baseball cards, there were two major threats. One could be a market collapse. We could go back to where's Uncle Rich? What was like a terrible time in the hobby? 2008. Just go to card shows and there's 10 tables and 20 empties and hardly any customers. So we could have a market collapse, which just trashes our sell-through rates and sales and all that. My biggest worry as a threat, it's not a market decline at all. Now, is that a threat? Yes. But I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about USPS rates. What if the USPS, I mean, they're not doing well financially and they haven't been for a while. What if they just do away with the stamped mail and everything is now flat rate $3, no matter if it's in a plain white envelope or a whatever under 16 ounce or 10 ounce or whatever. Well, I guess 4 ounce. Everything starts $3 is the minimum. Like now, a stamp is what, 63 cents. We're just going to do away with stamps, or we're just going to raise the flat rate. It's going to be $3 to mail anything 4 ounces or less. And then it's going to be that sliding scale that they currently have. What if that happens? Is it likely? No, probably not. Eventually, yeah, we're probably going to get to that point where we're going to have $3 stamps. But it's certainly like, what if eBay does away with standard envelope? What if the USPS cracks down on trading cards in plain white envelopes? Like, these are all things that could happen. Are they possible? Yes. Are they probable? Maybe. So that's my biggest concern as a threat to my business, because my business is $1.50 cards. Now the hope is to bundle them, and somebody comes in and buys 30 cards from me. That's my hope. When I list, I'm not listing all of these cards in my eBay store to sell 300 single cards to 300 different people in one transaction and making 40 cents per card. That would not be a sustainable business model. My goal is to attract through volume pricing and then those 50% sales for people to come in, buy 7 or more cards, get 25% off, 10 or more cards during my sales, get 50% off. So they're coming in and they're, spending $15, $20 in one transaction, as opposed to $1.50 here and $1.50 there. So that's the goal. What if that would happen and, stamps go up, and it doesn't even have to be $3. I mean, stamps could go up to $1, in that, $1 erases all profit margin on $1.50 free shipping. So I would have to change my business model, whether it's charging for shipping, raising my prices, or just doing away with my business model of selling $1.50 cards. And that's something that even to get my average sale price up, I'm always looking for bulk buys of $5 cards, $10 cards. And they're a lot harder to find. It's pretty easy to find bulk commons. It's pretty easy to buy out quarter boxes. But once you start getting into the $5 and $10, yeah, you can buy them out, but you're also going to be, your cost of goods sold just went up from a penny per card, 3 cents per card, to $1.50 per card. And when you're doing that in bulk, that's a lot of cash outlay, which I don't like. I'm cheap. 71 viewers. Love it. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Let's see. We've got David in the house. What's up? Good morning, Florida. Mark Marinello. What's happening? Good morning to you. As mainly a collector, it's refreshing to see the hucksters leave. They have no business in the hobby. And the thing is, we're always going to have hucksters. There's just more in our space now because it became really popular a couple years ago. And when something gets really popular, the hucksters, they're like vultures. They come in and then they leave and they go off onto NFTs. Now NFTs are dead or dying, and now they're off to the next thing that they can go huck. Cooter says, ride the no wave while you can. In my opinion, there is a limit to the number of people who are hardcore variation collectors. That's a good point. But you know what? It seems to me, just from my store inventory, before the pandemic, I was selling 1990 Fleer Uribe cards for $7.50 before the pandemic. 1989 Donruss Alex Madrid. There were some of these cards were just going for wild money, like actual sales. Like I was getting real money for those cards. I can't now. I put Alex Madrid. I think I still have 15 of them in my eBay store. I can't move them for $1.50. Uribe, put them in for $1.50. That one usually moves because there's still a lot of popularity sentiment, maybe it's dark web. I don't know. But it seems like those type of quirky sales were more popular pre-pandemic than what they are now. Let's see. Good morning, Victor. What's up? Off to Illini country for a cold college visit. A cold college visit or just a college visit? I think it's still, it's 53 here. I thought our forecast today said it was going to be wintry. Although 53 in April does seem wintry. We're going to be in the 70s next week. I am pumped for that. Oh my God, shorts weather. Oh, it's only 28. My computer says it's 53. It's freaking 28 degrees. It is winter. God dang it. By Tuesday, we're going to be in the 70s. Let's see. Minneapolis kid, maybe Warhammer, but people hate the company. They care about the provider. John says, toy trains are huge where I am. There's a huge building near me that's an auction house that deals solely in trains. Interesting. So you're in Philly. There's a lot, and this is only because of Monopoly. I have the only reason I know anything about railroads is from playing Monopoly, because there's the Reading Railroad. What's the other one? Isn't there's a bunch of railroads in Pennsylvania? Am I misremembering? Let's see. Gale, where I lived around Galesburg, that's a huge railroad community. But I don't like it. Toy trains were not big, even though railroad was huge. It's a huge industry in Galesburg. Toy trains weren't like a big thing. Card hobbyist, what's happening? Good morning. Minneapolis kid. Oh, fishing guys are way into their hobby stuff too. Okay. Harlan says train collectors are worse. Interesting. I don't have much knowledge around that hobby. I had an uncle who was he was a prick, but rest in peace. Well, he was a prick when he was alive. But I shouldn't joke. But I do. He was a big toy train collector. But I don't remember like I was a kid. My aunt and uncle lived out in California. And they would only visit, thankfully, once every few years. Love my aunt. Uncle's a prick. But I don't remember. I remember going to a toy train hobby store. And I remember as a kid, it's like, oh, this is really cool. I want to collect these. But then it's like, oh no, this is for a tree. It's like, oh, I love all oh, you can get scenery. It's like, oh, this is, I can buy 7 packs of cards for the price of this tree. So I was priced out of the train hobby. Adam says probably set collectors. 3 more added, says John. The Hobby Evolution Facebook page continues to grow. We're at 131 strong. Link is in the chat. Link also in the description to the video. Let's see. Good morning, Basement Card Collector. What's happening? John says, which day is more overrated, 420 or May 4th? May 4th. May 4th is way overrated. I mean, there's a lot of 420 jokes on April 20th, but I'm like, at least I can semi-relate to 420. I can't relate to May 4th. Actually, the most annoying day of the year, even more annoying than May 4th, April 1st. I hate April Fool's Day. Absolutely despise the poor attempts at humor on April 1st. The worst day of the year. April 1st, second worst day of the year, May 4th. Third worst day of the year, May 5th, because then you get Revenge of the 5th jokes, which I hate equally. So those are my 3 least favorite days of the year. April 1st, May 4th, May 5th. And there it is, Card Hobbyist. Yes. April Fool's Day, just annoying. Yes, I agree. When I was in morning radio, my co-host, he was the creative guy of the team. He would always come up with these elaborate April Fool's jokes. And it's like, this is stupid. I don't even remember what I wonder if I can go to the old archive.org and see if there's an April 1st. We were at morningshowguys.com, which is pretty impressive. We were a small radio station, small market. So to get morningshowguys.com in the mid 2000s was impressive. Looks like we opened it up in 2004. So let's go to 2005. April 4th. So April 4th should have something about our April Fool's joke for 2005. So here's what we talked about in April of 2005 on the K100 Morning Show. Daylight saving time start this weekend. Ever wonder why we have daylight savings time? This website does a nice job explaining. That's stupid. That's as dumb as daylight savings. We had some our Ron LB All or Nothing Daily Challenge trivia. What is April's birthstone? Let's see. We didn't have any April Fools. I'm sure we did something for April Fools. I'm sure it was dumb. Okay, I can't find it. Let's see. Where are we at? Brian says, yes, photography and the card industry are like Siamese twins, i.e. Fuji or Sony or Nikon or Canon is like Topps or Panini, is like PSA, SGC, Beckett, and so on. Interesting. So there you go. So we're not the only dorks that care about companies. I have an 84 Topps card that is priceless. Dale Murphy. Love it. Flipping sports guy in the house. A hobby declined. Did more people make Sky is Falling videos? No. So Flipping just joined us. So the reason I'm talking about this today is piggybacking off my sell-through rate conversation. I had somebody ask me, we were just kind of bouncing stuff back and forth, and I said I'm not concerned at all about these because they had mentioned they were a little concerned with their numbers when they started looking into it, and I said I'm not concerned at all. And so their question to me was, when will you be concerned? Which I don't think I've answered yet, have I? So we'll get to that. So that's why there hasn't been any Sky is Falling videos that I know of, at least none that I've watched. This is just a question that was directed at me after the other day when I talked about sell-through rates declining. John says left money on the table is what you're trying to say. Thank you. Yes, left money on the table. Bird in the hand is worth two in the bus. Bush. I'm like, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bus. What's that? I've never heard of that. Yes. Thank you. Rich says 95% of the time when you sell a hot prospect, you win, but we always remember that time when we sold too cheaply. Absolutely. I still remember 2017 Bowman. I sold a Bowman Chrome Auto. First Bowman Chrome Auto. Kevin Maitan, $125. Guess what that's worth now? 5 to 10. So that's one that I always remember. Frito Dorito, what's up? Buy smart, sell strong. Hey, I like that even better. That's probably the best one I've heard. I love it. MD Sports Cards, the feeling of losing holds more weight than the feeling of winning. How it's always been. Unfortunately, we let that rule how we sell cards. I agree with that. Since I switched to selling a portion for business, I just look at everything I want to sell as stale inventory, get it out. You make money when you buy, not when you sell. And I think that's when I started seeing success selling cards, was when I just, if it's been sitting in my store for whatever length of time, sell it. If an offer comes in, if it's a decent offer, sell it. And that's when I started seeing a lot of success. Jenny says, I totally understand you track sell-through rate as it's your business, but I can also see the flip side. If you didn't track, but you're having, say, 100 sales on Tuesdays when you used to have 75, you're doing better today than previous. What I like, I track it daily. So, and I also track my daily sales. So I use the 90-day because it gives you a nice big pool. So it's not just because there's so many. If you're looking at such a small period of time, like today, tomorrow, the next day, and you're isolating it, it just kind of gets blurred when you take the overall picture and average it out. And okay, this is where my average is going. Is it going up? Is it going down? Same with sell-through rate. So tracking it daily gives me an idea of, okay, and I can go back. Where was I at this time last year? What was my, sales, and all that. Let's see. There's more inventory listed, but your sales dollars are higher. Isn't that the main goal? Absolutely. And that's what we talked about in sell-through rate. Like my sell-through rate was, but I'm actually going to get in. I'm going to circle back, and I'm going to talk. Actually, let's just do it right now. So the question was posed to me about sell-through rate, and this is based on. So I'm somewhere in between here. So Jenny says, because yes, there's more inventory listed, your sales dollars are higher. Isn't that the main goal? Yes. And kind of no. So, and here's why. So the question was posed. I did the sell-through rate video. My sell-through rate is just getting crushed. Last year at this time, it was 0.7%. That's daily sell-through rate. So 0.7% of my entire inventory was being sold on a daily basis. So that equals out to how many cards I'm selling on a daily basis. Today, it's 0.3%. But I also have 3 times the inventory. Now, that would be a huge concern if I was listing cards on my phone, if it was taking me twice as long, 3, 4, 5 times as long to list than what it currently is. It's not taking me long at all because I'm using the Fujitsu 8170 feed scanner. I'm using Card Dealer Pro, which I'm now able to list 4 times, sometimes 5 times, 6 times faster than what I could using File Exchange or my phone. So that's why I'm not concerned with and I know the more inventory I list, because I'm not listing. When I was last year, when I had 10,000 listings, it was like basically my best 10,000 cards. Now that I have 30,000, I'm just trying to pump as much inventory because even some of those commons from the early 80s sell. So now I'm pumping a lot of commons that's not much in demand. Set collectors are buying it, but they might not come along for a few months, a year. So I'm not listing as much in demand inventory. So that's going to affect my sell-through rate. Not as many people are going to be buying the 83 Donruss commons against the first Bowmans from this year or last year. So that's why I'm not concerned. So my sales, though, last quarter one, 6,850 sales in the first quarter. This year, quarter one, 9,400. But again, the sell-through rate went from 0.7% to 0.3%. Is that a concern? No. And I just explained why. Because I'm not spending any extra time. In fact, I probably spent less time listing those 20,000 cards than I did those first 10,000 cards. So I'm spending less time getting more inventory up thanks to Card Dealer Pro and the Fujitsu 8170. But the question was proposed. Okay, you're not concerned today. What would it take for you to be concerned about a declining card market? That's a great question, because you have to think about that as a bit in any business. You have to think about the what ifs, the threats to your business. And I thought about it. What if in the next year I triple my inventory again? Probably unlikely, because 10,000 to 30,000 is a lot easier than 30,000 to 90,000 or 35,000 to 105,000. So say I want to triple my inventory again year over year, go from 30,000 to say 100,000 listings. If I see another decline in my sell-through rate, say from 0.3% to 0.15%, and now I have 100,000 listings, that's a concern. Why? Because I'm still selling even at 0.15%. I've tripled my inventory, so I'm still outpacing my sales. My sales are higher. However, my expenses will be higher because my threshold for listings with my store subscription is 60,000 fixed price listings per month. So if I go to 100,000 listings, now I have an additional expense getting the next tier store. And so that expense brings down that margin. So there's more expense, there's more sales, but there's also more expense. And how does that net? If my average sale price stays the same or it declines because I'm listing more $1.50 cards than I am $5, $10 cards, that could be a concern. So it's something I need to monitor. And it's also why I'm still trying to cherry pick what I list. Now, I took a page out of Dan's book, where he like just scans a ton of cards into Card Dealer Pro. And I haven't done that until yesterday, where when I scanned into Card Dealer Pro, I would scan in, upload, and list to eBay all in one foul swoop. But I think that was slowing me down because there was some downtime in between. Now, if I was on my game, I would go and I would scan, and then I would upload, and say the 10 minutes it took to upload those 100 cards, I would come down here and I would do some shipping. I would go back up, but there's downtime. And for me, and this isn't with everybody, but for me, the way my mind works and just in my personality or whatever, that downtime, I'll get my phone out. Oh, I'm going to answer this email. Oh, I'm going to tweet this out, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden I've wasted 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And so what I find is when I'm focused on a task that I can just continue, I can scan these cards in, upload, get the next batch, scan, boom, boom, boom. All of a sudden I've scanned 1,000 cards in like no time. And now I have 1,000 cards ready to go in, and I can take a break from shipping. I can go in, take the spreadsheet, boom, check it, boom, upload, next one, boom, boom. And I can all do that in one task. So I think with the way my mind works, I think that may be beneficial to my efficiency, to where I'm focused on one task at a time. And I'm a great multitasker, but if there's downtime, I pick up that phone. I go pet the dog. I'm just, oh, I need to go do a load of, like, oh, squirrel. Especially when it gets warmer, I'm going to go check the garden. I've got cards uploading. I'm just going to go check the garden. And 20 minutes later, I've just lost 15 minutes, 10 minutes. So that's my, that's just the way I have to work. So my concern lies in more with, once I hit that active listings threshold and start having to pay more in expenses to list cards, and if I see that sell-through rate continue to decline, even though my sales are up here, my expenses also rose. And is that margin going to be worth it? Is it going to be worth my time? So that's where I have to be careful and be cognizant of the balls that are in the air. So that's when I'll be concerned. If my sell-through rate continues to decline in half, and I get to a point where I have to spend more money on listings, but it affects my margins, then maybe I'll have to pivot and I'll have to focus on $5 cards and $10 cards, or just adjust my business plan. So that's where my concern will lie. Right now, I'm not concerned, but there's a potential that could happen. Jenny says, so for your title to the video, will you be concerned when your sell-through rate hits a certain percentage, or will you be concerned when your dollars hit a certain low? And I think I just kind of talked about that. If my sales decline, so I kind of both. If my sell-through rate declines and hits a certain percentage, I'll be a little concerned. But I'll also be concerned if my sales dollars decline. Ultimately, the sales dollars, ultimately net profit is the number I'm looking at. So when net profit if net profit declines, that's when I'll be concerned, especially if I'm scaling up, continuing to scale up, and the net profit declines. And I'm not talking about over a 30-day period or a 2-month period. I'm talking about over a 12-month period, where if it's a sustained decline, that would be a big concern. Terry's thanking John, bought some Yaz cards. Transactions high to low, not here. USPS is a service, not a business. Military doesn't make a profit either. Denny, what's happening? Purchase price is number one when you're in it for profit and working solely. Stick to your plan, take a risk here and there. Prospecting is difficult, but can be done proficiently with experience. I agree. Like people say, when the boo birds come out on prospecting, the boo birds are focused on the holds, and it's not about the holds. It's about the sells. if you bought Brian Taylor in 1992 and are still holding on to it today, that was not a smart strategy. But if you bought Brian Taylor in 1992 and sold Brian Taylor in 1992, you probably did really well. And you can do that today. And you can do it with almost any prospect. There's almost always going to be a peak. The tricky part, the tough part, is predicting where that peak is. And if you do it long enough, and if you follow prospects and follow blowout forms, is great for it. I know some people don't like the blowout forms, but I've probably learned more at the blowout forms than anywhere else. You can do prospecting right. Card Hobbyist says, in SWOT analysis, threats can also be opportunities for early adopters and adapters. Absolutely. JMF Collectibles, what's happening? Ramen noodles will always be cheap, so you won't starve if shipping costs increase. Thank you. John says, you think the USPS wants to kiss all those PWEs goodbye? Answer is no. I'm not saying hey, it's possible. Anything is possible. It's possible. And I need to be cognizant that is a possibility. In 20 years, stamps have gone from 37 to 63 cents. I don't think you'll lose stamps. I hope not. There's a reason they made the deal with eBay to begin with. PWEs through a machine are much less labor cost than hand scanning bubble mailers. Bink says, Bo, say someone purchases 6 cards. Is it cheaper just to send them out in 2 3-card orders? So no. What I do I ship up to 12 cards in a PWE. If it's 12 cards, I'll do 3 cards per card saver 1, which fit unless they're like super thick cards, which that shouldn't be the case. I'll just send them, and that goes 3 ounces for $1.08. But no, I would, and it also depends on if it's, I shouldn't just give a blanket answer of no. If it's 6 cards and it's $25, I'm going to send it in a bubble mailer. If it's 6 cards at $1.50 each, I'm going to send it in probably 2 card savers, 3 cards in each card saver. And that's going to be 2 ounces, 84 cents. Adam says, clean feedback, 1K sales. Very nice. John says, Pennsylvania Railroad, oddly enough. Aha! Bono's PA Railroads because of monopoly. Exactly. B&O, short line. Yes. Thank you. You're just confusing Philly fans railroading their players out of town. Not that there are a lot of railroads in the state. Where we at? Let's see. Oh, here we are. Haven't seen train collectors sending their shot off to be slabbed. Terry was into selling G-scale trains a few years ago. They did really well. Pi Day is up there. Oh, yeah, the old Pi Day, March 14th. Pi Day is food. How dare you? James Hunt, good morning. Surprised it's even worth 5 to 10. Minneapolis Kid says, can I get an opinion on how to sell something? Absolutely. Let's see. No golf fans in here. The Masters begins today. The most beautiful golf course in the world, in my opinion. Always close to my birthday of April 13th, except the virus year, azaleas, pine trees. I'm not into golf. If I start seeing like tweets, oh my God, this is amazing. What an amazing comeback. This is a great game, or whatever you call it in golf, match, game. I don't know. I'll flip it on, but probably won't turn it on. Adam Lee says game on. Harlan says train collectors are very into realism. If Lionel released a boxcar with 19 modeled rivets down the side when the real car had 20, they 100% hear about it. Interesting. Rascal 30. Southern Hospitality. $1.50 pimento cheese and egg salad sandwiches. Good times. Hobby Evolution's main golf fan Porter is in school during the live. Brian Wolf says par 3 competition was fun to watch. Amazing course. Card Hobbyist, not a golf fan, but it was cool to see the course and the golfers. Let's see. The closest thing to any like golf I've done, I mean, I've played a couple times. Played a couple times. A friend of mine got married out on Carmel, on a cliff over the ocean in Carmel. The U.S. Open was what the hell's that golf course out there? Pebble Beach. And I still have the photos like on an old Razor flip phone. And they told me I still have the phone because I think sometime they're going to be able to get these pictures off for me. But the wedding was on a Saturday, and so Saturday morning it's like, the wedding's not until 1. So I went out to Pebble Beach. It was right ahead of the US Open. So the scoreboard was actually up already on the 18th hole. So I went out, and it's a public course, so you can just walk out. And so I walked the 18th and the 17th, and then I started wandering, and I got lost. And this is pre-smartphones, so I didn't have like a map that I could look at. So I was almost late for the wedding because I got lost on the Pebble Beach golf course. Let's see. One hell of a classy operation, in my opinion, to not be greedy mongrels like all the other sports concessions, right? The lottery sign up is in May. It's free for anyone to enter the lottery for tickets. Jenny says, what if your sell-through rate drops for Q1 2024, but you listed only cards that are currently behind you? You actually net more because you didn't buy. You sold what you paid for years ago. It all comes down to my expenses. If my expenses stay the same, I won't be concerned. But if I scale up past 60,000 listings and I have to pay more in expenses, it depends on where those expenses are. If my sell-through rate's 0.15, but my expenses don't change, and my net profit goes up, I'm not concerned. But if I scale up over 60,000 listings, I have more expenses, then there's going to be concern, depending on what those expenses are. Kyle says, sometimes being bigger is not better in business. Being right-sized and profitable is more important. Absolutely. Let's see. Flipping Sports Guy. And that's kind of like, would I love to have 100,000 listings? Yes, but I want 100,000 listings that are likely to sell. I don't want to list a bunch of 88 tops, 89 tops, 91 Fleer. I want to list cards. I'm going to be listing some like 83 Donruss Commons, but those are a little more in demand than 89 tops, 90 tops, 91 Fleer. And I see and I know that from experience of selling, like, wow, I can't believe how much these cards sell. Early 80s cards, commons. Let's see. Flipping Sports Guy says, I think next subscription level store is it's actually I think it's 300 for the next level. Let's see. I try to start the next, and I think the next level store, I know it's 300, and I think is it 100,000 listings, or is it like 75,000? It's for the amount, it's not a great deal. For the I think it might be like 100,000. Like, you go from $60 a month for 60,000 listings to $300 a month for like 100,000 listings. So it doesn't math out. I try to start the next AI batch while going through the spreadsheet of the prior batch. Key is try, and that's same here. Same here. But what happens is I get distracted and don't do that. When I do it, I can get a ton of cards processed quick. Yes. Jason says too many squirrels, and that's my problem. Too many squirrels. Let's see. MD Sports Cards to Jenny says, therein lies the key in evaluating your business. One statistic only matters when comparing your business, holding everything else equal, but in this business, it will never be the case. Yeah, there's no like one specific. If my sell-through rate's down, that could still be good. Like, my sell-through rate went down 0.7% to 0.3%, but I'm making more money, which is the goal in business, making more money. But my sell-through rate could increase. But what if I didn't add any more cards? What if my store declined in listings because I just stopped listing cards? And then my even though my sell-through rate was higher, my sales were lower. So it's this like juggling act. So you've got to look at all the numbers. There's just no one answer, whether it's sell-through rate, net sales, gross sales, listings, etc. Brian Baker, good morning. What was your ASP in Q1 of 2023 versus ASP in Q1 of 2022? I don't want to go into those details. I don't like sharing the dollar amounts. Let's see, where are we at? If Car Dealer Pro has reduced your time to list, then your margins. If Car Dealer Pro has reduced your time to list, then your margins have increased accordingly. Yeah, so I mean, I'm probably listing 3 to 4 times more cards in the same amount of time as pre-Car Dealer Pro. So you have to take that in. I know some people are like, oh, I don't want to spend $100 a month or $50 a month to list cards. But if you can find an efficient way to 3x and 4x your listings, it more than makes up for that subscription cost. Rich says you should always sell into an up market and buy into a down market. Absolutely. Brian says, got to accept selling trout that first year as well. Sometimes the peak keeps going up. I was out of the hobby in 2011, so I don't have any like trout horror stories. I don't even think I was actively buying or doing anything in the hobby in 2011. Wait, 2011. No, in 2011, I was not. 2012 is when I started dabbling. So I might have bought some Topps Update 2021 or 2011 Topps Update in bargain boxes in the bargain rack at Walmart or Shopko back in those days. But I don't think I was buying any Topps because I was like fixated on Topps Archives, Allen and Ginter. That's what kind of drew me back in. Because the first single that I bought that I remember buying when I kind of started dabbling back in 2012 was the Javi Baez first Chrome Auto, which I still have. It's a BCCG. It's a 9. It's a BCCG 9, which equates to like a PSA 1. So I do not have any Mike Trout horror stories. Rich Kleins, I have a Giannis horror story, but not a Trout. Leaving money on the table is perfectly fine. John says I sold 2 $15.99 cards yesterday in combined shipping. I'm surprised they let me send in one 108 PWE. Yeah, I don't. It's by design. They're not. If the transaction is over $20, it's supposed to just default not allow you to send standard envelope. Let's see. Brian says, do you guys keep your junk wax sets together and move them that way, or take apart and sell cards individually? I break all my sets. Sometimes I keep, and I've got, I move those sets around. I've got some sets. I think they're down here. I've got a few sets that I've just kept intact. Just because I probably have a lot of that, like 88 tops, 89 tops. Like I've got so many singles that I just keep the sets sealed. What I did the last bulk truckload sale that I sold the last truckload, I bundled up like 3 or 4 unopened sets just as a little carrot. Imagine that. A couple of 89 tops, 88 tops, 89 score sets as a carrot to dangle for those bulk buys. So that's what I do. If it's a set that, if I came across like a 86 Donruss, I would break that puppy and sell a lot of the singles out of it. Because it's worth, you're going to get a lot more if you're efficient and you can make a lot more selling the singles. Minneapolis Kid. Oh, wait. Brian says, do you use penny sleeves when 3 cards per card set? Yeah, every card gets penny sleeved. Every card gets penny sleeved into the card saver. Minneapolis Kid says, I bought a collection and it had a ton of 2005 era Bowman firsts, numbered Bowman first autos and just minors autographs, like probably 50 to 75 of each, but of guys that never amounted to anything. When I check eBay, some are listed $5 to $8, but most have no sales in the last year. What's the best way to move them? What kind of price should I try to get? I typically go like it depends. Like if it's a Bowman, I'll go $250 or best offer, depending on who it is. And you can usually move them for that price. $5 to $8's a little too. I wouldn't go that high if it's a guy that never amounted to anything and there's just not much demand. So I would go 250. And it also, I guess, what did you spend on the collection? I mean, if you were into those cards for 5 cents, 250. Or best offer, because somebody might want to come in and buy 50 of them. If you have 50 of them, and heck, I'd sell them for $1 each, depending on what you have into them. So that's kind of where I'm at. If it's like, I've got a bunch of like Leaf Perfect Game, and I mean those are guys that some guys didn't even make it to the minor leagues. Those I put $1.50 free shipping. Steve Ains Comedy, what's up? Good morning to you. Terry says, what did Terry say? I had a golf club membership for a while in the 90s. I was addicted and went almost every day. Well, it's probably good. You get outside, get some fresh air, get a little exercise. John says, Pebble Beach may be a public course, but you pay a toll to access the area and close to $1,000 for a round. I didn't play. But yes, I did have to pay to drive. What's it? 9 Mile Road or whatever it is. It's very scenic. It was worth the $8 or whatever it was 15 years ago to drive on that road. So it was worth the $8, the $8 toll. JMF says, have you done analysis on how much your sales are on commons versus better stuff? I have not. I honestly don't want to waste my time on that. But it's certainly much higher on stars. You know, what I'm really surprised about, we're at 81 viewers. Holy moly. 85 is our record, by the way. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you. Junk Wax Era Rookies. 13 column 13 AA. I think I sold another couple cards out of there. I've sold 90%, and it was like all 80s stars and rookies. That stuff sells like hotcakes. Let's see. Adam says, golf becomes an exercise if you grew up around the game. Go Red Legs. Small town collectibles in the house. Harlan says, carrot, maybe a Brussels sprout. Yeah, I think you're right. More of a Brussels sprout. 82. Can we break the record? Can we break the daily viewer record? We're at 84. 84. Can we get to 85? 85, 85 going once. 85, 85 going twice. Can we get to 85? 85. Yep. Poor attempt at an auctioneer. 85 is the record. We're at 84. Not all people can stomach paying $8 shipping on a 12-watt. And that's the thing that prevents. Sales on complete sets is the shipping. You can bundle in like a large flat rate. If you get the long box, you can fit 3 sets in there. So for like $20 shipping, but they're basically $20 sets too. So it's tough. It's tough to move sets, especially through eBay. You have to haul them. If you go to a card show, you have to haul them to a card show. And if they don't sell, and you might move them at $5 for a set. You might as well break the set and sell like 5 cards in there. You'll net your $5. Let's see. What promotional percentage do you run with for your success? I'm between 5 and 10%. I use dynamic, the dynamic setting, so it varies. Because sometimes it'll be like 3% promoted, and sometimes it's 10%. So my range is 5 to 10%, but sometimes for some reason it's down to 3%. But it's under the dynamic setting, so eBay kind of sets it. That's what I run with. Charles Rodriguez, good morning. How do you handle old sitting inventory, the old stale inventory? Do you pull them off eBay and put into quarter boxes? No, I don't pull anything off eBay. A lot of my stale inventory, I mentioned early on in the show, a lot of my stale inventory will sell during my 50% off sales. So one of the settings, if you go into promoted listings, promotions, one of the settings you can choose is move stale inventory. And so run a 50% off sale and click that button. And like I mentioned, I have 2020 Topps Gold Star Parallels. And they've been in my store for like 3 years, and I sold like 20 of them this past weekend. So a lot of my stale inventory will move, especially when it comes down to the last, when people are searching ending soonest and it's within 24 hours and it's like, oh, wow. And I can tell, like, if it's box 2 tab A, that's one of my early boxes. That's probably, when did I start using that? A year ago. And all of a sudden I'll get a run on cards selling out of that tab. It's been a year. So I don't pull anything. In fact, I pull stale inventory. I do the opposite. I pull stale inventory out of my card show quarter boxes and put those in my eBay store. And a lot of times they'll move faster. I mean, they could go 20 card shows without selling out of my quarter boxes. Then all of a sudden I put them in my eBay store and they'll sell within a few days. Brian Baker says, what about sealed sets from Junk Wax Arrow worth keeping sealed or not? Just rip it and sell them. I rip it and sell them, like 88 tops, 89 tops. If I don't have the inventory in my store, say I didn't have many 88 top singles in my store, I'm going to rip that 88 top set because you're going to sell it at best $5 at a card show. You're going to sell it for $5. I can make $5 selling 10 cards out of that set. Tom Glavine, Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco, Don Mattingly, Cal Ripken Jr., Roger Clemens, Wade Boggs. I mean, a lot of those guys sell. Bo Jackson, and boom, you sell 10 cards, you'll make your $5. And then you have a bunch of commons left over. And then you just toss them to Goodwill, give them to Goodwill, and then eventually they'll be in a pallet for me. Frito Dorito, good morning. Double flush morning. Well, congrats. That's a big day. Congrats. A big day, literally. Double A cards. What's up? Good morning. Terry says, I keep a supply of invitation-size envelopes on hand. They work well for some larger, cheap card orders. You can put 3 card savers vertically next to each other with a small overlap. John says, calm down. I'm watching on 4 devices. I don't know what that means. Well, I know what watching on 4 devices means, but I don't know what calm down means. David says, when you add a SKU to your cards on Card Dealer Pro, is the SKU per card or for the whole batch? So I don't know what the question is. So when I export, so when I upload to Card Dealer Pro, I export a spreadsheet in Excel. So I'm working out of Excel. I'm not working within Card Dealer Pro. Once I upload to Card Dealer Pro, I export a spreadsheet. So I'm working with Excel. And then I put the SKU within the spreadsheet. So it's box 2 tab A. That's my SKU. I just post it in row 1, copy, paste it all the way down to the end of the batch. So, and I upload each SKU in a batch. So, right now, I just scanned a bunch of cards in that's going to be box 14. So box 14 tab A. I've got those in box. So that's a batch. And then when I export the spreadsheet, I put it in the custom SKU label section, copy and paste it down 14A. So that's how I handle it. Old inventory sells. You're not a bakery. I'm always being surprised at cards selling that have been on eBay forever. Yeah, you never know. You never know what's going to sell. Kyle says, I sold 2 cards yesterday that were among the first I listed last June. Those are fun little surprises. Like, oh, didn't know I forgot I listed this 3 years ago. Harlan says, just sold a 1959 Topps Wacky Pack. It says, to be seen, stand up. To be heard, speak up. To be appreciated, shut up. Got to be a father who purchased that. Absolutely. That's funny. So that's what I had for today. I'm not concerned with where the card market is. In fact, I think it's in a great place. I think it's stronger than ever. I know Tom Brady Prism Silvers aren't selling for $20,000 anymore. They never should have been in the first place. 2020, 2021 prices were an anomaly, an outlier. We should not be comparing the current card market prices to what they were a year ago or 2 years ago. So that's my spiel today. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Over 80 viewers still. Thank you so much. Hit my eBay store up. Buy 7 or more cards. Get 25% off at checkout. That's at regular price. Offers don't count for that sale. Become a member of the Hobby Evolution Facebook page. We have these conversations ongoing throughout the day on Facebook. So if there's any questions, we're up to 131 members, 132 members in the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. Let's see, 132 members. Robert, welcome to Hobby Evolution Facebook. So check out the Facebook page. We have discussions like this and more all day long. So not just within the Hobby Evolution video chat. So check it out. Link is in the description. I also posted it somewhere in this chat. So if you scroll up, you'll see it. What's up, baseball card curmudgeon? Just about to sign off. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. Yesterday was Wednesday. So tomorrow being Friday, we're going to play Name That Player. I'm throwing a curveball tomorrow, something we haven't really done before on Name That Player. So get ready. We're going to go modern tomorrow. Modern. So I know that we have some players that are specialized. They know the modern stuff more than they know the 90s stuff or the 80s stuff. Some know the 80s stuff better than the 90s stuff. Some know the 90s stuff better than the 80s and the 2000s and all that stuff. So tomorrow we're going modern. We're going modern. I'm not going to tell you which set we're going to do, but we are modern. Don't worry. It's not a minor league issue because I've opened cases upon cases of Heritage Minors, and I probably still wouldn't be able to name that player on most of those Heritage Minor League cards. So it is a major league set. It is a Topps flagship set. So we will play Name That Player tomorrow morning on the Friday free-for-all, and we've got our handy-dandy scoreboard on the whiteboard with us. Uncle Rich says soccer. It's not going to be soccer either. It's not going to be hockey. It's not going to be soccer. It's not even fun. Like, we did it for fun one morning, hockey, and it wasn't even fun. At least it wasn't for me. Harlan says, enjoy your Passover dinner. Thank you. It'll be a nice meal. I had frozen pizza last night. The night before, I think I had a ham sandwich. So my wife and I have been lazy this week on dinner. So the notorious MIL, my mother-in-law, will be cooking a nice Passover feast this evening. David, I can't hit a baseball Bodie. Bert and I, what's up? Just got into selling on eBay. Thank you for your wealth of knowledge. You are welcome. Let's see. Harlan says, wait, that's next week. What's next? Passover is now. Like, I think we are in Rich can answer that. I think it started at sundown last night. Rich says, don't start me on Passover. I spent last night helping to prep dinner. There you go. Are you having gefilte fish, Uncle Rich? I have become a fan of gefilte fish. So I'm looking forward to that. Passover began last night at sundown. Okay. Passover last night at sundown. So not in your life, he says. Oh, I like the gefilte fish. So I'll be having some gefilte fish tonight. I'll take a pic. Kyle says 1990s NASCAR, name that player, and I will get my first point. Let's see. Gefilte fish is the worst food in the world. Oh, there's got to be worse. So that's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, join the Facebook page, shop in my eBay store, all that fun stuff. Liver and onions. Now that's the worst food in the world. We'll leave it on that. Liver and onions, worst food in the world. So have a great Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for a free-for-all Friday.